Okay, so this is our homework number 6 for Mr. Tamez. This is due today, the 9/23, which is Wednesday, the 23rd of September. And so this is on just integer rules practice. So this should be an easy grade to pick up our averages. So we need to be able to do good on this. So again, we have notes here. Remember that adding and subtracting rules, when you're adding or subtracting, if you have the same signs, you add, keep the sign. If you have different signs, you subtract and keep the sign of the larger number. Okay, that's for adding and subtracting. And then there's some examples here. If you're multiplying and dividing, okay, you can either use the sleepy cat or the tic-tac-toe. The way the tic-tac-toe works is if you're multiplying or dividing a positive and a negative, you get a negative. If you're multiplying or dividing a negative and a positive, you get a negative. If you're multiplying or dividing a negative and a negative, you get a positive. And then you have your examples here. Okay, so now let's go on to the actual assignment. 5 minus negative 3. What I would do here is I would simply already do my keep, change, and change. So keep the 5, change the subtraction to a positive, and change the negative to a positive. So this would be the same thing as 5 plus 3. And what is 5 plus 3? 8. So you would go in and choose your answer. 1 minus 2. Again, do keep, change, change. So keep the 1, change the minus to a positive, change the positive 2 to a negative 2. So what is 1 plus negative 2? According to your integer rules, different signs, you subtract. What's 1 minus 2 is 1. Keep the sign of the larger number, which is a 2, so it's a negative. So this is negative 1. Okay, and that's all we're doing. Now, if you want to remember that you have a calculator, and you are allowed to use it in 8th grade. So you can also use the calculator for this. It's not against the rules or anything like that. We don't want these problems to be the reason why you get an answer wrong, especially when we're solving for equations. So you take the calculator out, okay? Any calculator that you have on your phone, on the computer, okay? If you have one of those ones at your house, and put it in. This right here, usually all 4 functioning calculators, like the simple ones, will have a plus, positive, or a negative somewhere, and that means to change it to a negative. So you just put the number first, change it to a negative. You see how it's negative 1, and then just put plus 5. Plus 5. What is that equal to? 4. So then this one would, number 3 would be 4. Okay, same thing with the next one. Okay, clear it, put 5, it's a negative, plus 1, and it's a negative, equals negative 6. So these are very simple, and this is from 6th grade, but we want to give you this practice because we know that you all need it, for 1, and 2, we do not want these to be the reason why we're not solving for X correctly. Okay, so let's move on to number 5. I'm sorry, I did 2 of those, so I'm going to go on into like this one, number 7. Again, nothing changes. Do negative 2 plus 6. Start from the left to the right. So what's negative 2 plus 6? Well, they're the same sign, so I'm going to add them. So 2 plus 6 is 8. I'm going to keep the sign, so they're both negative. And now I have plus negative 1. Again, same sign, I add them. So 8 plus 1 is 9. And what, they're both negative, so this is a negative 9. So my answer is negative 9. Here, same sign, I add them. So 4 plus 5 is 9. They're both negative, so it's going to stay negative. And then it's minus 6. At this point, you could do keep, change, change. Now they're both negative, so I add them. 9 plus 6 is 15, and I keep the negative. So this one is negative 15. Okay, awesome. Now let's go to some of the multiplying and dividing ones. So I already went over a few of these. So I hope you're writing down the answers and you're following along with me. So now we go to some division. So we're dividing. Again, if I do the tic-tac-toe, so if I do the tic-tac-toe, a negative and a positive, give me a negative. A positive and a negative, give me a negative. A negative and a negative, give me a positive. Okay, this is a negative. So, negative and a negative, I'm going to get a positive. So all I do is 54 divided by 9. If I'm not sure, take out the calculator. 54 divided by 9 is 6. And I know that a negative and a negative give me a positive. So it's a positive 6. Here, again, negative and a negative. So I'm going to get a positive. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. And negative, negative is a positive. So this is 7. Okay, let's go on to some multiplication ones. So let's do these. Negative times a negative, I'm going to get a positive. So what's 3 times 5? 15. And it's a positive number because it's a negative and a negative. Again, same thing, negative and negative, I'm going to get a positive. What's 4 times 7 is 28. And it's going to be a positive. And then let's try to do one that's kind of the opposite. We'll do this one here, number 18. So positive and a positive, we know it's going to be a positive. 4 times 4 is 16. And then 16 times negative 4. So now I have a positive and a negative. So what do I get? According to tic-tac-toe, a positive and negative is going to give me a negative. What's 16 times 4? Well, let's get the calculator out. Okay, let's take the calculator out and do 16 times 4, 64, and I know it's going to be a negative, so this is negative 64. Okay, so we did a good amount of these. Again, you have your notes on top, and you have your calculators that you may use. There's no need to be able to get a bad grade on this, okay? It's just to get the practice and to pick up our scores. So please get this done by the end of today. Again, if you need help, I hope you're watching this video to help you out through this, okay?